Thank you, Madam Chairman. This is a topic for a state like North Dakota that is near and dear to our heart. I mean, we've gone, hopefully, with no offense intended to the fuels portion of this. I think we're looking at moving agricultural manufacturing beyond food, fiber, and fuels. And so how do we do that? And what I heard today is that, first off, the most critical part of this is getting the product right, product quality, because it's got to be competitive. And if you went to 100% bio-based, you might not have the integrity of the bottle. You might not have the integrity for the transformer. So it's got to be a quality product. And then we've got to create a marketplace so that we can, in fact, engage the capital markets in investment. In my state, that investment typically came in the co-op movement, whether it was advanced manufacturing or what we would call value-added agriculture and pasta or food. And we were straw board was a big product which didn't perform well in the marketplace because it didn't have the integrity that it needed in order to be a resilient building material. And so I agree with you, it's product quality, it's capital, and then it is responding to the needs that the community has for labeling. It needs to be an appropriate standard for labeling. So we're hearing all this, but my question for each one of you is, if you were sitting in our chair, as the chairwoman of this committee or one of the members who believes deeply that this advanced manufacturing is where agriculture needs to go for a future for our farmers and for production agriculture, what more would you be looking at? What more would you be doing, Mr. Vitters, and all the way down the line?
A couple things. One, I wouldn't separate out fuels and chemicals. I think that's often a mistake that gets made by folks looking at the technologies. Many of our partners actually do fuels as well. And I think what they've come to realize is for getting started, the chemical space is a little smaller, a little easier to scale, perhaps has a little more value within it today for being able to get started and moving.
So if we were looking at this as we fight the RFS or as we have that transition, to talk about the importance of that technology in the next generation of what you do.
Exactly. So chemicals as a vehicle toward also solving needs as it relates to fuels as well, for one thing. The second thing I mentioned in terms of ensuring within the loan guarantee, renewable chemicals have a place within that if they're not advancing biofuels. Maybe as a third thing, and there's been a lot of comments around providing certainty or flexibility within the markets for companies that are getting started. One thing that does impact the decisions around putting domestic manufacturing capabilities in place is around when you're getting started, flexibility on feedstocks, looking at are there duties and taxes that are either prohibiting or creating challenges for being able to have a industry have the most amount of flexibility at the beginning. And so some looking at how you might reduce or eliminate incoming duties and taxes for the renewable chemicals market would be something we'd be interested in terms of having explored.
So yes, 7 years ago we had a customer who had a marketing strategy to become green, and that was Ford Motor Company. And as Mr. Miller mentioned, I believe the value proposition has to catch up with the product. And what's happening now is that value has caught up a little more for our other customers because they're competing with Ford. But in the interim, though, there's been a lot of work done to clean up the material, make it more pure, as we said, and more useful. So I think the research incentive is very important. As you heard Mr. Vitters mention, the half of their product still has potential to be bio-based. The same is true for automotive seating foam. We're only dealing with the polyol portion, but the other side, the isocyanate, also has potential. So we could theoretically get to 100% with the right level of research and dedication by our supply base. The other one is incentives. Incentives for use. We still have some holdout customers. It's entirely possible that that would grow faster if they had some incentives. And then again, I think I mentioned capital investment. Some of that was a little slower in my world anyway to catch up with our supply base, and has helped since there's been some relief there, and can, I think, help expedite things in the future as well. Thank you.
I'm going to ask each of you to be brief as well, so we can we have votes starting here shortly. I want to make sure we hear from all our members. So, but please go ahead.
Product differentiation, with EPA. But the other one is the challenge of switching costs. Anytime you change from one chemistry to the other, there's a lot of switching costs involved. And so if our customers would get credit for switching costs, would be interesting.
So for those of us who don't work in this town and run businesses, the debate over existing good policy like the new Farm Bill, the renewable fuel standard, it creates uncertainty in our community. So to be honest, we can live with whatever detailed warts there may be when we have two good things like that we can rely on. And the mandatory section of the Farm Bill was a very nice add in this edition. So the less debate about what we have that we can work from, I think in some ways the better. And the mandatory side of the Farm Bill is a really good thing.
Yeah, I would, if it was me, I would be pushing for development in the residual products from wood products. I'd be wanting to push development in an area to use them to generate energy, to just whatever could be developed out of them. It's a cheap alternative because it is a byproduct. Europe has already taken advantage of it. Like I said, all our excess byproducts are going and making pellets to go over there to heat their homes and things. I mean, I think it's a wide open industry if it's just pushed and, capitalized into future for us.
Thank you.